Hey guys, so now that you're actually in the meat and potatoes of choosing a topic and identifying a society, we now are ready to actually create and develop a relevant, clear, focused, and complex research question which will guide the remainder of our research. In order to do so, we're going to have a little mini lesson with a what, a why, a how, and we're also going to go through a little bit of an example of what this could look like using my own work. Finally, we're going to get to our summary opportunity. Let's go ahead and start with the what. Our goal for today's mini lesson is to construct a foundational knowledge with how to develop a research question that is relevant, clear, focused, and complex. Our goal for this lesson is also to construct a foundational knowledge with what relevant, clear, focused, and complex even means. Now, why are we doing this? Well, guys, before we begin our research, we need to know what we're actually researching. For this assignment in specific, we need to know which society we're going to be researching and identify what we actually want to learn about that society. My guess is going to be something to do with its collapse or the factors that contributed to its collapse, or potentially, if we're analyzing a contemporary society, the factors that may contribute to its collapse. To do so, we need to know how to develop a research question that ticks all the boxes. And how are we going to do this? Well, guys, let's start right here with definition. Let's explain what these four things mean. First, relevant. When I say relevant, or when I say a research question needs to be relevant, I mean it actually relates to the topic. For example, guys, we're talking about collapse. When I say clear, or when I say that a research question needs to be clear, I mean conventions and word choice. So think about, are those 6 traits of writing? When we say that a research question needs to be focused, I mean specific. We'll see more about that in just a second. And when I talk about a research question being complex, this means it cannot be answered with a simple Google search, meaning a one-off Google search isn't going to give you a final answer. You're going to need to conduct some degree of analysis. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and say that my topic was very broadly the internet. Now, to take something like that and to make it more relevant, what I'm going to say here is, well, let's take a look. My first attempt to make it relevant, I went with the impact of the internet. But as you can see, as we research, we need to think about always getting more specific. So by complex, or when complex rows along, we have a specific research question to actually look at. To ensure that, we can't just take our topic, right, the internet, and replicate that here in our relevant piece. So instead, we want to say something like, we want to build on it, in other words. So the influence of social media takes it a little bit of a step further, right? Next, let's see if this take this idea, this topic of the influence of social media, and I want to turn it into a question. This question needs to be clear. So I wrote, why are social media bad? Well, 2 things here, guys. 1, are obviously not correct. And bad is one of those vocabulary words that we've talked about as being a little bit elementary, a little bit childish. So for clear, I've cleaned it up so that it's now, why is social media harmful? I'm still not done though, of course, because now we need to put it through the focused test. And what I've come up with is that, why is social media harmful? It's not that focused of a question. A focused question would be, what are Facebook and Instagram doing to make their platforms safe? Now, guys, this is increasingly focused for 2 reasons. 1, I have been more specific in terms of which social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and I've also been more specific in terms of harmful. What does harmful mean? Well, we're talking about this idea of making platforms safe. Now, for the final step and the final test of our research question, we need to ensure that it's complex, meaning it cannot just be answered with a simple Google search. And oh no, it fails the complex test. And it fails it, guys, because all I would have to do is type this into Google, and I would get a clear explanation of exactly what Facebook and exactly what Instagram are doing to make their platform safe. So I need to make it more complex. That way, I'm actually going to be collecting data. I'm going to be collecting information, and I'm going to be analyzing that information in order to come up with an answer to my questions. Let's take a look. I've now come up with this. This is our final iteration after all 4 tests. How are online users addressing cyberbullying on platforms such as Facebook and Instagram? So take a look. We came from this topic and we made it all the way here. That came from my making sure that it was relevant, clear, focused, and, of course, complex. Now, having done this, please complete the summary, and if you have any questions, please go to the Padlet. Thanks, guys.